Snapchat has unveiled its long-rumored game platform, and announced the first developers partnering with the company to bring social games to the service. That new service is Snap Games, a platform that aims to offer up a library of titles that claim quick and frictionless social gameplay their first priority. Snap Games itself is baked right into Snapchat, meaning that the games that appear on the platform have dropped into the hands of any of the social app's existing users. During its Snap Partner Summit today, Snapchat highlighted that one of the big goals behind this project was to ensure that mobile games could offer something akin to classic couch co-op gameplay, the kind of social experience of playing a game at an arcade. To accomplish that, any titles hosted on Snap Games are launched from Snapchat's chat menu and require no additional downloads for players to jump in. Snapchat's existing text and voice-based chat features are also used by any games featured on the service, and players will be able to invite and see friends already playing the game from right within their chat menu. Features that Snapchat says aim to combat some usual annoyances found in multiplayer mobile games. The first 6 games are set to go live on Snap Games today, including one called Bitmoji Party, made by Snapchat's own internal development efforts, with a helping hand from Fruit Ninja designer, announced at Games head Luke Muscat. The 5 other devs partnering with Snapchat for its first batch of games include Zynga for the Battle Royale game Tiny Royale, Game Closure for the game Snake Swamp, Zetto Lab for C.A.T. Best Drift Race, Pickpock for Zombie Rescue Squad, and Spry Fox for the collaborative puzzler Alphabet Hustle. Currently, it looks like Snap Games is a somewhat exclusive club, but Snapchat did note that it is looking to seek out partnerships with other developers to create new games for the platform in the future. During the presentation, Snapchat also mentioned that it already has an ad experience in effect to monetize games on the platform from day one, has yet to dive into any specifics on monetization. In this success story and Gonzo project beatdown sensation Lethal League recently got a sequel in Lethal League Blaze. The games combine a fighting game setup with play that involves manipulating a third entity, a ball that floats around the playfield and bounces off of walls, like the ball in Breakout. When smacked by a player, it gains gratifyingly greater speeds and becomes able to do huge damage to opponents. One of the game's creators, Diane Coster of Team Reptile, agreed to answer out questions about this engaging and kinetic take on fighting games. This interview has been slightly edited for publication. I am Diane Coster. I like dancing and making things. Me and Tim Ramos are the tour bosses of Team Reptile. We are a concentrated team of about 5 people. We also bring in lots of artists for specific things, so the credits roll a bit longer than that. My own role is that of a game director, determining the style and vision both visual and gameplay-wise are the things on my plate. Tim is on the business and management side, but both of us still spend most of our time hands-on with the game. We released our first game, called Megabyte Punch, in 2013, and then our first heavy hitter, Lethal League, in 2014. Lethal League did really well. Both of us moved out, and from that point on we were truly self-sufficient. We never worked with a publisher, or received any funds for development either, mostly because we cannot work without full creative control. Lethal League Blaze is our latest release, and it did even better for us than the original Lethal League. All of our games made their investment back and a bunch more for the Lethal League series. So as an independent studio we are pretty well off. Of course, We do not want to sit back too much. We do our best to challenge ourselves in ways far air in the game. And if the fans can see our sincerity with that, then I am as happy as can be. Sure. While we were making Megabyte Punch, there was a mechanic that reflected projectiles. There were projectiles that were one-hit kill in that game, which made it really exciting to reflect them back and forth. We decided to make this into a mini-game, which became the Lethal League prototype. I made it in Flash in a space of 2 weeks, put it on our site for free, and we sent it off to a few websites. You can actually still play it over here. It appeared on the radar of Adam Hart, who people might know from DivGeek, who was at Shoryuken.com at the time. He featured it at the Ultimate Fighting Game Tournament 9 as the grand final mystery game, and that really boosted our popularity early on. We finished Megabyte Punch, and it was clear we should just head straight into making Lethal League into a proper full game. A year later, in 2014, we showcased the game on Evo, and released it on Steam. Before the release, we did not get a lot of attention outside of the FGC. Thereafter, however, YouTubers jumped on it one by one. Total Biscuit, Game Grumps, PewDiePie, Markiplier. It probably was the extremity and big anticipation moments that attracted them. We kept updating the game for a while, and we managed to port it to PS4 and X1 in-house. While that was going on, we decided to do a sequel with 3D graphics. Since we ported the thing to Unity anyway, it was also a good way to up our game to scale up a bit, without taking that big of a risk. I did not want to name it Lethal League 2, because it implies that you had to have played the original, so we went with Lethal League Blaze instead. The Blaze is actually the get-up move you can do in this version, after being knocked down, signifying the fact that you will not die in one hit anymore. On high speeds, you still have the one-hit kill shots, so the hype is not lost. We added more moves, like pitching and spiking. The pitch is especially important, because it directly counters parrying, which is like blocking in Lethal League. Of course, the main attraction are the new characters, stages, modes and music. We have double the characters that the original had at launch. One of the modes you can unlock is called Lethal Volley. We had a lot of 2v2 fun with that one. We also made a story mode in this iteration. Even though Lethal League does not really shine in single player, most people will be buying this game by themselves, and I want them to get some fun out of it even before finding a homie to play against. The style comes from my experiences in street culture and hip-hop with skating, b-boying and graffiti I was doing. This is what drew me to Jet Set Radio Future at the time, which blew my mind with near-future versions of the styles I was familiar with. Hip-hop originated in America, of course, but what they had done was use inspiration from the French sci-fi artist Mobius and the backdrop of Tokyo to advance it into new territory. Although I admit it hit me more than others, because I saw where it was coming from. This mix between West and East influenced my personal style heavily. So yeah, I am a fan of Ryu Towato, the art director for Jet Set Radio. Looking for similar Japanese artists, I also came across CP Gogo and Daisuke Nakayama, that two that my friends in the European underground dance scene, and graffiti writers from all over the world, and guess something that looks like Lethal League Blaze. It was not really tempting to add more elements per se. When looking at people picking up the games we make, they usually seem to have more fun with something deep instead of something complex. If you get what I mean. There are still not that many elements compared to most top-of-the-bill fighting games, but the interactions in certain contexts or with certain additional inputs actually enable quite a few. It's true that I like to hide extra mechanics inside others. Some definitely disagree with me here, but I believe the fun of discovering and sharing this is a big part of enjoying the game. It's also a way to keep it interesting for both beginners and experienced players. There's many techniques to learn, but they will not get in the way when you are playing free for at a house party. In action games, there's an old trick to give more impact to an hit.